Hi and welcome to ePIG. Today we present you the products of Sinus Brake. Dieses Video hat eine englische Sprachausgabe. Wir haben allerdings auch ein Video in deutscher Sprache für euch. So Sinus Brake made quite big waves on the German and especially the European market and is now hoping to distribute even as well in the US market. So what is Sinus Brake? Sinus Brake is a combination tool with three major assets. So one of those is a muzzle brake, the other is a compensator system, and the third one is a barrel tuner. So there is some products on the market that offer these three components to you, but the Sinus Brake is a typical German, maybe a little bit over-engineered product, but you will like it because the quality is just exaggerated. All the Sinus Brake products you see here can be custom made to your preferences. So you have all the options of the Cerakote H series depending on the color. You can even choose your favorite weight of the barrel tuner. You can choose the engravings, all the writings on the body and on the tuner elements. And you can even choose your barrel threads. So if you have like a fancy gunsmith who does his own barrel threads, everything can be customized to your wishes. Just shoot an email to Sinus Brake and they will go over your wishes and make your dream come true. So let's go over the specs for a little bit. I will demonstrate all the specs on the Magnum brake you see here because it is just a humongous beast of a muzzle brake. So the used steel is a tool steel with a code 1.4301. It means it's a stainless steel based on chromium and nickel. The normal Sinus Brake that goes up to 338 caliber is 3.3 inches long and weighs 9.5 ounces. The Magnum brake you see here in my hand weighs 34.9 ounces, so almost 2 pounds, and is 6.1 inches long with the adapter. So let's go over the details. And let's start with the muzzle brake. The walls of the muzzle brake system are 90 degrees to the sides, so there is no debris flying into the face of the shooter and even no smoke or other foulings. So the compensator system on the Magnum brake consists of 2 rows with each 4 threaded holes, and for the standard Sinus brake of 2 rows with each 3 threaded holes. So for the standard brake you can have 81 combinations depending on which screw you remove from the holes. So if you experience a sideways muzzle flip from a semi-automatic rifle, for example, so if the bolt carrier group hits your shoulder or the buffer system, you could even open more threads on the right side so you can compensate for the sideways flip. Another major advantage is that if you have less muzzle flip and less recoil combined by the muzzle brake and the compensator system, you can follow your trace of the bullet very much better, so that if you miss your target, you can compensate and reshoot faster. The barrel tuner itself, that's the part here in front of the muzzle brake component, is very, very grippy and has an engraved scale on it. So for every rotation, we have 10 units with half units in between, and we have 8 total rotations for the whole barrel tuner system. Even if I turn it out, like 4 or 5 total rotations, there is almost no wiggle to it. So manufacturing quality is very, very high. if I selected the level I would like to have the tuner on, I can use this screw to fix it. So what does a barrel tuner do? Most people know what a muzzle brake does. So a muzzle brake compensates your recoil. Most people know what a compensator system does. It compensates your muzzle flip. But there is just some people who know really what a barrel tuner does. So for explaining this, we have to go a little bit into interior ballistics. So what happens when you are shooting? You are trying to push a bullet that has a too big a diameter through the barrel. The barrel is screwed to the system is screwed to the chassis system, and the chassis system is in the shoulder of the shooter. So let's say the shooter has like almost 200 pounds, so there is like a fixed point to the whole system. That means when the bullet pushes through the barrel, there is some sinus swinging going on the muzzle, and there is even some torsion by the bullet engaging the threads and going through the barrel. So we have like this sinus curve, and we have the torsion. In former days, it was just possible to limit these vibrations of the barrel by changing seating depth of the bullet in the casing. What we want to do when we are shooting for longer distances is we want to shoot a quite heavy bullet, or as heavy bullet as possible for the caliber, with the highest speed possible at our target. So if I have to seat the bullet deeper into my case neck or into the case itself, we limit our space that we could fill with propellant powder. A barrel tuner, especially Sinus Brake, redeems us of these problems. So we can use the longest possible cartridge overall length, so as long as possible to feed it into the chamber or to feed it into our magazine, and all the harmonics and of the barrels and all the vibrations of the barrels will be adjusted by the barrel tuner. So therefore, we now can use the heaviest bullets with the longest cartridge overall length for the caliber, with the highest velocity, and all the harmonics are adjusted by the barrel tuner of Sinus Brake. So another fine detail of Sinus Brake is the very pleasant form it has. So even if you have to push your rifle, or at least your muzzle, through a barricade, and you pull it back, because of the slick exteriors, you cannot get snug to the barricade. Manufacturing quality is very, very high, as well as the coating. This is called DLC Plus. DLC Plus coating is used for tool steel or for machining tools. So it's not just a black decoration. So it is a lot harder and a lot more resistant to abrasion than normal DLC coating. All parts of Sinus Brake, except for the Hunter brake, which we will discuss later, is made out of tool steel 1.4301, which is sandblasted and coated afterwards. On top of the Sinus Brake, you will discover a bubble level with 0.1 degrees of precision to it. This bubble level is very convenient to adjust your rifle cant or to see whether your rifle is just straight, and it even helps you very much with adjusting Sinus Brake to your rifle system. The quality controls for all Sinus Brake parts are certified for ISO 9001 of 2015. So every part goes very, very well together. And even if you would have to buy another adapter, you could be sure that it fits perfectly. There is several adapters for Sinus Brake products. So there is a conical design like this, and then there is a square design. We chose the conical design because it looks a lot more pleasant, and if you would retract your barrel from barricade, you would not get snug to a hard edge. The conical design is made for barrels up to 0.92 inches in diameter, so it fits perfectly and it looks really, really slick. The threads used here for the adapters is very, very fine threads, and they lock themselves automatically. So there is no possibility, even if one of those screws came loose, that the Sinus Brake would start to rotate on the threads. So when I disassembled my Sinus Brake from my competition rifle you see here for the first time, I discovered that just very, very little fouling penetrated into the thread area. Even if so, there is like a little indentation going around, which catches all your dirt and debris. So it is very, very easy to clean it afterwards. Because of this very fine coating, you can just use an oily rag and just go over it, and it is clean. And it's the same for a whole Sinus Brake system. So even if you try to clean out your chambers, just take a swab or an oily rag, and you can just go over it, and it comes out like new. All the engravings done on the Sinus Brake system are made with a special tool when the Sinus Brake is manufactured in the machine. So all engravings are very, very clear and cannot fade away, like if you would have them lasered, for example. Another cool aspect on Sinus Brake is that the adapters fit all Sinus Brake products. Of course, not for the Magnum brake because it's a behemoth, but for the standard Sinus Brake products like the Sinus Brake, the 22 barrel tuner, or the Hunter brake, all adapters are the same. So you have different rifles, with different threads, you buy just different adapters, and you can use the Sinus Brakes or the Sinus Brake products on all those different rifles. This spares you a lot of money because Sinus Brake products are not very cheap, but they are well worth the money because of the great manufacturing and because the product works. We have to exaggerate that all the Sinus Brake products are not caliber specific. So the standard Sinus Brake works up to 338 caliber, and the Magnum Sinus Brake works up to 50 caliber. This is also a safety feature because if you use your Sinus Brake, let's say on a 22 rifle, so like an AR platform, or you use it on a hunting rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 PRC, and you use it on a precision rifle in 338 Lapua Magnum or whatever, you can use the same brake, and there is not the possibility that you just blow your whole system up because you use a 22 caliber Sinus Brake and you try to shoot a 30 cal bullet through it. Testings have proven that unless with silencers, it is not relevant to have like a specific caliber to a muzzle brake. It does not work, bit or bit. No, it works the same, even if you shoot a small bullet through this bigger hole. That is not a problem at all, and function is not thwarted by it. One of the biggest assets of Sinus Brake with the combination of muzzle brake, compensator, and barrel tuner is that you reduce the time and the amount of money you need to adjust your reloads to your rifle. As we said before, you can just use the load with a specific bullet that delivers the most velocity, and you can adjust the harmonics with the barrel tuner to it. Especially now, when all the reloading components are getting more and more and more expensive, this is a very, very good aspect to get a Sinus Brake with a barrel tuner, because the costs of the Sinus Brake are well eliminated by the costs you can spare when using it. Each Sinus Brake product is prepared for use of a Mirage band. So you just have to remove the screw here on 12 o'clock position and replace it with a screw that is delivered with the Sinus Brake. So with this screw you can as well fix the adapter as mount the Mirage band to your muzzle brake, and after that strap it down to the mount of your rifle. So now let me show you how easy it is to mount your Sinus Brake properly to your rifle. For this I would just put this monster away and get my competition rifle ready. So this is a HST Mars 1. It's a precision rifle made from a German company. Kudos to you guys. So you just take your Sinus Brake product. For example, right here, the original Sinus Brake. You loosen those 3 screws you see here. And disassemble the adapter from your Sinus Brake body. After that, you take your adapter. The threads is engraved into the adapter, so to be sure that it fits your rifle. You put it on the threads of your barrel, turn it counterclockwise until it clicks, and after that you can screw it on properly to your rifle without damaging the threads. After the adapter is fixed by hand, you just take your special tool. This tool is not delivered with the Sinus Brake. You have to order it separately, but most people have such tool in their households because it's used for a lot of household applications. So you take this tool and insert the single tooth into this hole. And after that, you just hold your rifle still and push on the tool grip. And you need round about 18.5 foot-pounds to mount it properly. So what I like to do is I just get hold of my rifle, get hold of the tooling, give it a soft tap, and the adapter is fixed to the rifle. After that, I have to level my rifle properly. So the most convenient thing is if you use like a sanded level or a bubble level on your rifle that is already adjusted to your system. You just adjust this one so that all your system is straight. And after that, you take your Sinus Brake, put it on your adapter, turn it counterclockwise until it clicks. And after that, you screw it on until it bottoms out. As you can see here, the threads are very, very well manufactured. So now you have your rifle adjusted, everything is level. You turn back the Sinus Brake until the included bubble level, or the bubble is right in the middle of the bubble level. And after that, you start adjusting the 12 o'clock screw and just give it a little bit of love, just round about 11 to 13 inch-pounds. So when you're using an Allen key like I do, just take the small part of it and turn it with a little bit of love. We adjust all 3 screws. And what I love to do, because German engineers like to do it like this, you just take like Sharpie marker or whatever, and you just make a little mark as a reference. So if something should get loose or should start to turn, you know it immediately. It will not happen. Sinus Brake tells you to use a thread locker, but it will not happen. I used it for 600 shots without a thread locker and nothing came loose. So if you use the right torque, everything is perfectly fine. So, and that's how you install your Sinus Brake. That's all that is to it. So now we have everything installed and we change over to the shooting range and do our first shots. The first thing we do is to adjust the compensator system. So, as we told you, there is 81 possibilities to adjust the normal Sinus Brake, adjust the compensator system. So, I just removed the 2 rearward screws and shot my first group. And I discovered that it's just perfect. There's no muzzles flip left. And that's all I had to do. If you discover flip to a side, you can adjust with the other screws. So if you use the rear screw, you have like full compensation, like 100%. With the middle screws, if you remove those, you add additionally 60% of compensation, and with the front 2 screws, if you would even remove those, you could add another 20% of compensation to your muzzle flip. After we adjusted the compensator system, the brake does work already because there is no adjustment to it. We start to adjust for the barrel tuner. So I discovered that my rifle shoots the best in the first rotation with a setting of 6 units. But we start by losing the screw and screwing the tuner system all the way in, so to a 0 setting on our scale. Now I would shoot like a 2-shot group, and there is even target provided by Sinus Brake you could download from the website. So you take like 2 or 3 shots at the 0 position. After that, you turn it like for 2 units and you shoot another 2-shot group. After that, you turn it for another 2 units, and so on and so on. We demonstrated this with a 22 long rifle with a 22 barrel tuner Sinus Brake provides for you. And we did 5-shot groups at 50 meters of distance just to check how the adjustment works, or does it work at all. So you can see on this target we shot 5 shots with SK Standard Plus ammunition, and after that we turned the tuner for 5 whole units. After that we took 5 shots, we added another 5 units, we took 5 shots, we added another 5 units and took 5 shots, and so on. So you can see here that the harmonics of the barrel are impacted by the barrel tuner, and you can see that the form of the group changes. What we are looking for is a straight vertical grouping. So like we see here at 15 units, there is one hole containing 3 projectiles and another little hole containing 2 bullets. So that's almost a perfect vertical grouping. So, and it is with 15 units on your scale. So now we would try to work with 17 units or with 13 units. So work up and down and discover where the groupings get the smallest. And as we told you, you have 10 units per rotation and you have 8 full rotations. So take your time, take some ammunition with you and try which one gives you the best harmonics. And even for the 22 barrel tuner, if your barrel weight should not be sufficient, there is a bigger tuning weight optionally available for you. You could just order at Sinus Brake. So I discovered that my match rifle 6.5 Creedmoor shoots the best groups at 6 units in the first rotation. So I just redial 6 units. And after that, I take my little Allen key and secure it with the screw. So now everything is fixed properly to my rifle, and the cool thing is it's even repeatable. So if I would like to clean anything or replace the O-ring or whatever I would ever like to do with my Sinus Brake, I can just unscrew it, screw it onto another rifle, shoot with the setting on another rifle. It is that well manufactured that it is really, really repeatable. Another big question concerning muzzle brake systems is how much recoil does it actually break? So we traveled to a shooting range and we tried to build like a little bit of testing setup. There is no empirical data to it, so you cannot see like it accelerates, the rifle accelerates with like, I don't know, xg, or the recoil impulse is that and that much joules, but you can see with your blank eye that the muzzle brake system works very well and compensates the recoil very, very good. So we built a little test setup and we had our rifles swing freely into the setup. We loaded up one round of 6.5 Creedmoor ammunition to the HST Mars 1. It is standard competition grade ammunition in Germany and has pretty good velocities, so the recoil impulse should be very, very visible. So now we shoot it without a muzzle brake included, and you can see that the impact is quite harsh and the recoil is quite heavy, even though the rifle system weighs almost 25 pounds. Now we add the Sinus Brake to the setup, and you can see that the muzzle flip and the recoil is much, much tamer. So it is really, really controllable if you just shoot this rifle out of your shoulder. As mentioned before, there is not just the Sinus Brake and the Sinus Brake Magnum to the offer, but there is also a 22 caliber rifle tuner. This 22 caliber tuner has no compensator threads on top and has no muzzle brake to it because, well, it's a 22 long rifle, okay? So 22 precision shooting is getting more and more popular because of the lower costs and because of the very, very interesting ballistics to it. So if you shoot out to 300 or 400 yards with a 22 long rifle, you have to adjust like shooting ELR with a big bore rifle. So there is no comp, there is no muzzle brake, but the tuner weight is a lot heavier than for the standard Sinus Brake. So while the length is almost the same as for the standard Sinus Brake, the 22 rimfire tuner is like 3.35 inches long compared to the 3.3 inches of the Sinus Brake. But the weight is much higher. So we have like 12.9 ounces of weight to the 22 barrel tuner compared to 9.5 ounces for the Sinus Brake. Should the tuner weight not be sufficient for your needs, there is even a bigger one, so a real behemoth of a tuner brake weight available at Sinus Brake website for you. And this weight alone is 11.5 ounces. So together with the body, we have 19.9 ounces of weight for your tuner brake for 22 rimfire. This could be very important because it is much harder to hit the harmonics node on a 22 rimfire rifle because there is so much less going on in interior ballistics. So the barrels are very, very heavy, and there is not much to a 22 rimfire when it goes off. So it is harder to hit the harmonics note. So therefore, we need bigger weights on top of the muzzle. So while even the standard weight is quite heavy, it could be necessary to use the bigger weight to it, and you can just unscrew your standard barrel weight and put on the heavier one. Fits like a glove, very well manufactured as always. And you can adjust your scale down to 0 by adjusting a little screw in the back of the heavy tuner weight. So everything is perfectly straight, and you can work your way down your 22 rimfire harmonics like with a standard Sinus Brake tuner or with the standard 22 rimfire tuner. In our little shooting test, we even included 2 groups with the heavy tuner. So you can see with the heavy tuner, the group sizes look a lot different than with the standard tuner, just depending on the slower harmonics of your barrel. So even with the heavy tuner, you just have to adjust it once, and you can flip from lot to lot of your ammunition easier, because the major specs of your ammunition will be the same, like roughly the velocity and whatever. So bullet weight is the same, and you can just adjust the tuner to your new lot of ammunition, just fix it and shoot through the next lot without suffering accuracy problems. Another new product of Sinus Brake, and it is a brand new product, is the so-called Hunter Brake. The Hunter Brake is based off the standard adapter of the Sinus Brake or the rimfire tuner, made out of tool steel, but the body of the Hunter Brake is made out of solid titanium, and it's a so-called grade 5 titanium TI6AI4V. It contains 2 muzzle brake chambers in the same form as for the Sinus Brake, and on top we can find 4 compensator holes to it, but there is no threads to it, so it cannot be adjusted. The Hunter Brake 2 is available up to 338 caliber, so it should be suitable for all your hunting applications. Installation is as easy as for the Sinus Brake, so you just add your adapter to it, you screw on the Hunter Brake body. There is no bubble level included this time, so you just have to adjust your rifle system into level, and after that there is a flat part on top of the Hunter Brake, and you can just take a normal bubble level, put it on there, and you can adjust it so that it is plumb to your rifle system. And after that you can just take your little Allen key, fix the screws just with a little love to it, and you are ready to go for hunting. The coolest thing of the Hunter Brake is the size and weight. So with the adapter it is just 2.13 inches long, and with the adapter the weight is 4 ounces, and without the adapter it is 1.76 ounces. So it is very, very, very light, and it doesn't really inflict your barrel harmonics. Even for the Hunter Brake, we did such a recoil comparison video for you. This time it is not a full grade match rifle with almost 25 pounds of weight to it, but we used my hunting rifle. It is a Bergara B14 Crest Carbon with a carbon wrapped barrel and a carbon stock to it. Although there is the same scope mounted to the rifle, it is just around 9 pounds in weight. So this is a very, very light stalking rifle. And as you can see now, the recoil is very, very hard to it. So the rifle almost flies out of your picture. With the Hunter Brake mounted, you can see that the recoil is much tamer, and the rifle is much more controllable for you. So let's wrap it up. Is a Sinus Brake product the right thing for you as a casual shooter? Well, I would say definitely yes, because the cheapest stuff that we can buy as shooters is our rifles. It is much more expensive to buy thousands and thousands of shots of ammunition than to have one properly set up rifle build and shoot competitions with it, go training with it, go hunting with it. So the money is well compensated for even such an expensive product. Does the Sinus Brake products only work on repeating rifles? No, it does not. It works very, very well on semi-automatic rifles like AR systems or whatever, because you can also compensate for the whole lot of moving parts to your system. So if you experience like canted recoil, you can or canted muzzle flip, you can even compensate that with the compensator system. Most semi-automatic match rifles are far less accurate than repeating rifles or bolt rifles, but you can bring them up to one scale with your Sinus Brake. So yes, you should use a Sinus Brake on a semi-automatic match rifle. Is a Sinus Brake only useful for high-end competition rifles? No, I would say not. If you take like a middle-class repeating rifle, like you see here with our 22 rimfire, that's a Sacco quad, it is no match rifle. But when you take a Sinus Brake or your 22 rimfire tuner and you put it on, you can adjust your harmonics to the quality of a rimfire rifle. Even with like low-key ammunition, like a SK Standard or CCI ammunition, you can get most out of your money. So all in all, we would say the Sinus Brake products are a great hit on the market and they will have a splendid future. As always, in all our videos, we'll post the link to the Sinus Brake homepage down below. If you like this video, please like, follow, and subscribe to our channel, ePIG-GROUP. Also, when the language is German, everything is with handwritten English subtitles. So like, follow, and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. Bye-bye. Take care.